A teenager whose mother was brutally murdered by his father has told a judge of his grief, describing the killer as an evil narcissist who was never a role model to him. "Rest in peace, Mum, I love you and miss you, you will forever be in my heart," said Daniel Boyd on Friday at his father's sentence hearing in the NSW Supreme Court. Stephen Boyd, 53, pleaded guilty in August to the murder of his former partner, child care worker Tina Kontozis, in her Bundeena home and to knocking his son unconscious with a bat on April 24, 2016. The court heard Boyd repeatedly stabbed Ms. Kontozis and hit her with a wooden bat. Daniel Boyd, left, with family and supporters, has told a court that his father, who brutally murdered his mother before beating him with a bat, was an evil narcissist. Stephen Boyd, 53, stabbed his former partner, child care worker Tina Kontozis to death and then beat their son Daniel unconscious, Daniel and Tina pictured together. Boyd pleaded guilty in August to the murder of his former partner. In his victim impact statement, the now 19-year-old said his mother's life was tragically taken away from her in horrific circumstances. "I was also assaulted by the offender, which resulted in numerous injuries," he said. He now hates going to bed at night, has nightmares, and is paranoid about making sure the doors are locked. "Mum was just a beautiful person," he said, adding that he missed her so much. "You may have taken my mother away from me forever, but you cannot take my memories." In his victim impact statement, the now 19-year-old said his mother's life was tragically taken away from her in horrific circumstances. "I was also assaulted by the offender, which resulted in numerous injuries," he said. He now hates going to bed at night, has nightmares, and is paranoid about making sure the doors are locked. Ms. Kontozis' mother, Helen Kontozis, Center, described the cruel burden of having to bury my baby girl. Daniel, who is now 19 years old, delivered a powerful victim impact statement in court. Other statements were read out on behalf of Ms. Kontozis' 3 older brothers and their mother Helen Kontozis, with whom her grandson Daniel now lives. She described the cruel burden of having to bury my baby girl who was murdered by a selfish bully in a barbaric manner. "My daughter's son Daniel is effectively an orphan," she said. Tina's brother James Kontozis told the court he was haunted after being given his sister's deformed rings, a sign of the trauma she had suffered before her death. "I couldn't imagine the trauma Tina endured in her final moments. But when I was given the rings she was wearing and saw the deformed state they were in, I came to the realization that she would have suffered horribly," he said. Brothers Nick and George Kontozis both said they felt guilt for not protecting their little sister. The hearing continues. Daniel, who was 17 at the time, pictured, was rushed to St. George Hospital with a cut to his head and injuries to his arm after he was beaten by his father.